This is the Unsung Cinematics Podcast, where we review some of the best kept secrets in TV and film. Your hosts, Stuart and Rostislav, present you with a misunderstood movie to see if it deserves the title of being unsung. Hello, listeners in podcast land. Stuart here over at Unsung Cinematics Podcast, bringing you episode number 33, Jerry and Marge Go Large, 2022 film. Hello, Rosto. How are you today?
Hello, listeners. Hi, Stu.
Hello.
I'm okay. Thanks. It's a nice Saturday, almost evening. So I was watching this movie which you suggested. That's your show today. And let's see. And maybe you can explain about this movie a bit.
For sure. So Jerry and Marge Go Large, as I said, is 2022 film. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. It's actually a Paramount Plus original film, so you probably won't find it or not much anywhere else, actually. But it is 96 minutes long, and it is set in 2003. It's based on a true story from around that time frame between 2003 and I think all the way up till 2008, maybe even 2011 in some situations. But the film is about real life journey when Jerry retires from the Kellogg's factory where he was working basically his whole life. He had many jobs, and him and his wife decide to retire and sort of try to enjoy life, but they don't have a lot of money, so he kind of entertain himself, but he ends up going to a diner and he finds this windfall game, and he figures out that he's able to game the state lottery, basically. So that's what the film's about. Now, it is directed by David Frankel and Jason Fagone, who is the story is based on his article for the most part, but not completely. He's the Huffington Post writer, and then Brad Copeland, who did the screenplay for the film. There was actually also a Boston Globe article where a lot of the information from the film came from.
Spotlight team.
Spotlight team, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, because this is a Paramount Plus film, there was no budgets or earnings available. I decided to pick the film because the Meta score actually was only 52, so the critics kind of trashed it. The audience, however, gave it a bit of a better review, so 6.9 on IMDb, and then tomato meter was 67 for the critics, and I think 79 for the audience score as well. So if you want to watch it, you probably have to go to Paramount Plus or find some other creative way to watch it.
On the high seas. And
yes.
Well, yeah. And yeah, basically it looks like critics, well, trash it is maybe a strong word, but they didn't like it much. And I kind of understand why, because it's very difficult to make these kind of movies. I mean, there are not really antagonists. There is not really some sort of typical frame, like fight between good and evil.
No.
There is not really some kind of moral dilemma. Everything is straightforward, and the story just kind of takes you, and you can just take a ride. So it's not
quite a Hallmark movie, but it does have a little bit and more upbeat sort of tone to it.
Maybe a little bit mockish, maybe, and corny, I would say. Yeah.
It has both an indie and a TV film style to it as well. I found it wasn't one or the other. It was just sort of maybe mixing elements from both styles. So while I was watching it anyways, I found that sort of like, oh, this feels a little bit like a TV movie, but at the same time, there's indie elements to it as well. So props to Paramount for bringing both together, I suppose.
Very TV movie, or even I would say it's almost like movie about two saints. Like it seemed to me like maybe some Methodists, the TV studio, they produce these movies about the perfect, Christian life people, and so it's very hard to sell this kind of movie, of course, and but they kind of did it. It's not that I wouldn't trash it too much, and there are some nice points of view, and even nice morals, I would say. If you want to go deeper, you have something to think about.
Yeah. So this movie is actually very new. Actually, it was released in June of 2022 here, so it's fresh off the press, as we say, and the film itself is a little more puffed up than the real life events. I did research both the Boston Globe article from 2011 and the Huffington Post article from 2018. I read them both, and actually, the Huffington Post article was quite lengthy. It took me a good half hour, I think, to read through it, maybe even more than that, carefully to get some of the details out of it. But I'm not really a fan of Huffington Post, but I mean, if you wanted to find out more about the real life events, that's probably where you would go to get the raw details of it, which we'll put in the show notes at the end of on the website, so we can do that as well. So it is a dramedy, it's a comedy at the same time. So the comedy aspect was all stuff added by the screenwriter. The drama aspect was a lot more close to the original events that happened in true life. As for the director's choices, I mean, yeah, it plays out like a TV movie. There's no emphasis on the blockbuster element or the element of like just in your face all the time. It's very low key in that sense, trying to present the story as they believe that it happened, right? You can listen to the full free version of this episode by searching for Unsung Cinematics on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. You can also visit our website at studiostation.xyz for the full episodes and our episode guides.